In a world of uncertainty and turmoil, one man stands alone, along with his faithful sidekick. A man who entertains and educates the masses weekly, 70% of the time. Born out of the dusty plains of Washington State, now from the coastal forests of Oregon. The man, the myth, the man. G23.
Welcome, everyone. Tonight we are joined by Mr. Derek LeBlanc from Kids.S.A.F.E Foundation. You want to kind of give us a little backstory on what Kids.S.A.F.E is and what you do for that?
So, quick question on the intro. Am I the trusty sidekick for tonight?
Normally, I have my co-host extraordinaire, Mr. DM Foss, who actually is the one who did that intro.
Okay, I love it. It's great. So back to the show. My name is Derek LeBlanc. I'm president of the Kids.S.A.F.E Foundation, and so we're a nonprofit. We're based in Oregon, and we teach firearm safety and accident prevention to kids. And since our founding back in 2016, we reached over 28,000 kids now in 5 states and taught them what to do if they come across an unsecured firearm. And we also get them on the range. We teach them how to shoot in a safe and controlled environment. So it's all about, getting the next generation involved to showcase that guns are not bad. There's nothing to be afraid of with guns if used properly. And kind of that's what we're doing.
Awesome. What 5 states are you in right now? And are you kind of planning to branch out?
Yeah, that's the goal. Everything comes down to funding. We're looking for funding. So currently we're in Oregon, Washington. We've been to California, Hawaii, which is a good state to go to teach safety. And then we're also we've been to Arizona. And so we're in 2024, we're in talks of going to Wyoming and Florida. So we're trying to, just grow this thing outside of where we're at here currently in Oregon.
Now, is one of the goals going to be to have like chapters in different states, or how do you see this growing in the next few years?
I mean, absolutely. It would be chapters in every state. And, we have the curriculum. It's already been copyrighted, trademarked. It's getting, qualified volunteers that we can trust, that are safe with the kids and good with kids. And then, that's what it's just, everything comes down to just getting that funding. And so we work really, really hard to hopefully get that where we can, get other people involved from all over the country. And that's how we're going to make a difference. I see DJ Play Nice is here. I really, really like that guy. He's super, super good, supportive. So thank you for the help there, DJ.
Yep. And he threw the link out to Kids.S.A.F.E Foundation, which it is also pinned in the description of the video.
Awesome.
So definitely have ways for people to reach out to you and get information. So what age do you think would be like good to start kind of teaching kids firearm safety, and kind of a few pointers about going about it if you're, if there's not a Kids.S.A.F.E in their area?
Well, it's a normal thing. That's one thing we're trying to do is guns are normal. Okay. So, we can start working with our kids at a very young age. If you look at Nerf guns, airsoft guns, these are tools that you could use to teach your kids the 4 basic rules. You can set up a target. You can teach them about trigger discipline, muzzle discipline, how to respect that Nerf gun. And you can start them out 3-4 years old, and obviously now you're instilling that. Obviously the Nerf is considered a toy, but you're using it as a way to get good reps and to teach them responsibility when it comes to firearms. And then, start them with a Red Ryder. You can, I started with my Red Ryder at 3 years old, and, so I've been shooting my entire life. And it's something, my dad gave me my first shotgun at 5 years old. And I still use that shotgun in every class. And so that's really, really cool. But it was that time of my life that he gave me this gift that now I'm able to pay it forward to other kids. And so that's what I really enjoy about what we do is I can pass that along.
That's definitely. I'm When I first heard about your organization, I was like, wow, we need to somehow promote this, get this out there, to kind of help combat all the anti-gunners, and anti-2A. Like, hey, look, we care about the children. Look, this is what we're actually doing. We're putting forth an effort to make everybody safer, and it's not just the tool. We have to focus on mental health and stuff that's out there also,
Mm-hmm.
because that is, part of some of the statistics that are out there, which we're not dealing with too much tonight.
Yeah.
Unless you,
Well, it comes down to there's just so much fear and there's so much emotion attached to this topic, and it doesn't need to be. Like this is something that it's such a polarizing issue. It doesn't need to be. And it comes down to let's talk safety. We have common ground here. At the end of the day, left versus right, the anti versus the pro. Our middle ground is safety, right? We want to keep people safe, and I think that my pushback to the people that maybe be fearful of what we do is the fact that we're proving that hands-on training is actually a benefit to society, and it's not arming young kids. It's actually teaching responsibility to those kids to make sure those kids don't have an accident, hurt themselves or someone else. And so that's the benefit of training kids at a young age. And so it all comes down to the parents, what their perception of our guns are, and whether they feel comfortable joining us on the range or not. I mean, we never push that. We want them to make that decision because we want them to see the value to their families when it comes to for training. And so that's the awesome part about what we do. So I got a friend from GRPC.
yep.
That's a really awesome place to go, and I can't stress that enough. You guys get the opportunity to go to a GRPC gun rights policy conference. It's put on by the Second Amendment Foundation, and so that's typically it's all in different places. This year it was in Phoenix, and so I meet a lot of great people there and get to network and learn so I could be better at what I do. This is really cool. Check it out.
So, unapologetically armed is she's with down in Missouri. Crap. Now I'm drawing a blank. It's she goes and testifies in front of the state House and Senate along.
Okay. Like with Women for Gun Rights.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. She's
Great.
I did an interview with her also.
Cool.
Before she changed her channel name. So yeah.
Hi,
DC
Susan.
Project.
Yeah, hi, Susan. Yeah, I sat next to her at AmCon. She's my hero, and so there's people that I met obviously this time for the first time, but I love their spirit and their energy and their vibe and the way they found their voice, and now they're in the trenches with all of us doing what we do, and so that's a really powerful thing to watch, and so just all I can say, if you guys take anything from tonight, is just know that everybody's cheering for you. Everybody wants to see you win because you have a very, very important job when it comes to preserving the future 2A rights. And you guys have a phone, you guys have a platform, and you guys are able to do little interviews like this to outreach. Everything's about outreach. We have to change the public's opinion of firearms and firearms ownership. So it's really, really important.
So I know you have program for children, for like younger and for teens.
Yep.
You want to kind of break down maybe a little bit of each each class that you do? Like, do you do live fire training, classroom training? Do you involve parents if they want to be there?
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't do anything without the parents being present because obviously it's a liability issue, and it's a safety issue for everybody. And so we want the parents there because we want them involved. This is not like our class, our kids firearm safety one class is not just for kids, it's for the whole family. And it's about making sure what the kids know what not to do, but it's also planting a bug in the parents saying, hey, are you doing everything appropriate in your life to ensure that your kids are safe, or if they're going somewhere else they're going to be safe? And so it's a family affair. And then we follow that up with our kids firearm safety 2 class, which that's on the range, and that's held with, we shoot rimfire rifles, typically up to 100 rounds per 2-hour class. And so with that, we're talking about the 4 basic safety rules. We're assigning the rifles. We're teaching these kids good foundational skills for safety. We're also teaching them how to load their magazines, and also how to seat the magazine and load rack, cycle the action, and also pull out their chamber flag. So and by the end of that class, it's so ingrained because of the repetitions that we create with those kids, that now it's second nature. And so from that we do a teen class, which what I love about the teen level classes is, we have, CZ 457 rifles. So we get to go out to 100 yards, and the kids, once we teach them the process, cause they're teenagers, they get to do the whole thing themselves. And we just sit there, we set a timer and we say, hey, here's 3 minutes, and let's have a countdown. You guys have 3 minutes to get all of those 10 rounds down range. And you have to make sure that when the gun goes bang, you cycle it, the gun goes back onto a safe, you have to acquire the crosshairs again, and you just repeat this process. And it's, obviously I'm kind of abbreviating it here, but it's a way for them to take ownership in the process and understand that, it's a really, really important, the whole firing sequence is really, really important. And then with that, we also start talking about civics and how, there's some of the kids that they came to our teen classes, they had just turned 18. I go, okay, so now you're a voter. So this is a really important time for your life. You understand all the fun that we had on the range today. Well, with that fun comes responsibility. And so the responsibility is to understand, the voting process, making sure that, those candidates are going to fit with your own morals and help protect your 2A rights. And so that's kind of what we're doing with the civics part of the teen classes is ensuring the next generation knows, what we need from them. And that's engagement.
And kind of branch off into some of the legal stuff that's going on here in Oregon, because it has a direct effect on you personally. With ballot measure 114, we just had the trial. Now we're waiting on judge in Harney County to hopefully render it unconstitutional, which I believe he will. If by chance it would be found constitutional all the way through, and SCOTUS would to say, yeah, oh, yes, this is completely constitutional, how is it going to affect kids safe?
Well, the hardest part is every gun that we use would be potentially illegal because of the way the law is written. It's a horribly written law. And it's, I am working on a blog post for it right now. And I was thinking about it today as I was writing my blog post is the people that are behind this, the chief petitioners or the people that wrote the law, that are either really, really dumb or they're smart like a fox. And because the way they crafted this bill, which basically renders every semi-automatic handgun in the state of Oregon illegal because of the detachable base plates on the magazines, because it's impossible for them to be permanently fixed, so they can only accept 10 rounds. And also, it talks about the pump action shotguns and semi-automatic shotgun. the modern sporting rifle, the AR-15, those are all potentially going to be illegal under this, and the permit to purchase, so there's so many things that go into this that would affect the work that we do. And I guess the benefit that I would have as an organization is it would still be legal for me to demonstrate these firearms in a class setting, because there is carve outs inside the law there. But the private citizens, the people that are coming to the class or traveling from the class, they could be in violation. They're going to be unarmed and disarmed, and so there's a lot that goes into this. And I feel that none of us were consulted when it comes to this legislation. None of our voices were heard and mattered. And I think our only saving grace right now is that Harney County judge. And so it's a definitely a scary situation to be in.
Yeah. And so I know you testified at the trial. How was that? And how many times have you kind of done this before?
That was probably the most challenging time of my professional career. And I'd never done that before. I didn't know what to expect. And that's why I was trying to, obviously work with our attorney to kind of like, this is what this looks like. Cause I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I sat through the entire federal trial when it was up in Portland. So I was I was there every day. I took notes. I took really good notes about everything that happened up there. But it just didn't dawn on me and didn't hit me the way the state trial was going to go. And I think part of it is because I was sitting in the back and I was reading body language. I was taking notes. It's definitely a different situation when I heard my name called. And I went up there. It was, I think the hardest part is when like the beginning of the trial, when they're doing the pre-trial stuff, they're going back and forth before they even called me up. Cause I was the first witness is that I could see their computers light up. So they finally found out who the witnesses are. And then, so they started, I saw my website, I saw my blog pull up on their computers. I mean, they had a team. There was an estimated, 46 of them against 2 of our attorneys during this whole trial. So they had eight attorneys, they had support staff, they had IT people, they had admin, they had all sorts of different people that their only job was to bring home a victory for the state of Oregon, which is unfortunate because it's all paid with our taxpayer dollars, and so that was the hardest part. My name was finally called. I got up there. I felt like, the cross-examination, like I felt like my interactions with Tony, my facts were great. I felt good about that. I ended up grabbing the water and tried to pour myself a glass of water, ended up spilling water on myself because I was so nervous. It was definitely a pressure cooker. I definitely, it was a learning experience for me. And it's something that I'm honored to have had the opportunity to do it, but I don't know if I would do it again. You know what I mean? So
I want to say it gets easier, but then again, it doesn't. So
do you have experience?
So I have an experience on a different side of this. When I was a juvenile, I committed a couple felonies. And so I've been on that other side of the law. And I ended up having to fight. It cost me almost $5,000 to get all my rights restored so I could own a firearm and everything. So it definitely not the cheap. So yeah, when you're getting drilled by the attorneys, you're going to be nervous. Even if you're telling the truth and you have the facts on your side, it doesn't matter because they're going to try to, bend your words. They're going to try to use any single little tiny thing that you possibly could have done when you were 2 years old to, make you look like the bad guy.
Well, and it's part of the game, and that's where we had to look at it and sit back and it's like, this is a game. It's we try to score points on them, and then they try to score points on us. And the whole point of this is the judge is watching this and he's trying to evaluate, what makes the most sense. He doesn't have an easy job, but I feel, that he's a good judge. He's a fair man. I really respected the way that he took care of his community. There was one day that he called the court early because there was a juvenile that needed his help and needed a protective order. So he understands his constituents. And so I feel that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, like, we're going to get the ruling that we need. And I feel that, this is going to go on to the next court. It's going to go to the Oregon State Supreme Court. And so, that being said, it's going to be appealed. And if we win or if we lose, it's going to be appealed either way. And the difference is we're self-funding this through donations, and the other side that are trying to, take away our rights, they're funded by the taxpayers, and they have an endless budget, so that's the problem.
Yeah, the wife and I were talking about that. It's, we got to fight, we got to fund to protect our rights, and we got to fund to have our rights taken from us. It's like, wait a minute, this is kind of a double-edged sword that we're following on, So,
I think that the problem is the way this thing all went into effect. This thing should have gone to the Rules Committee. We should have had, the Oregon legislature. They should have, before this thing was even pushed into effect, they should have modified and seen, what's contradictory to Oregon state law currently. They should have modified it. You know what I mean? And so the problem is Shemaiah Fagan, with her leadership, she rammed this thing, put this thing on the ballot. This thing went through, got the votes, and then she rammed it into effect. And luckily, we're able to get that TRO in Horny County. And so that's the one thing that, that we had going for us is that TRO. With the appeal process, as long as that TRO stays in place, I mean, this thing can get pushed out 5-10 years and nothing's going to change for us. Like, we're still going to be just like it is today. I can still go buy a firearm. I can still carry a 17-round magazine if I choose, so nothing's going to change as long as that TRO stays in place.
Yeah. And so I've watched a lot. I watched, and I've got live streams from the court back in December and in January. And then again, when we just had the trial.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge seems really, really constitutional. Like, he's going to rule everything based on the Constitution, not the left or right paradigm, not anti-pro. It's, what does the law state? Does it violate Constitution? And that's how he's going to rule. And it's kind of the way I see it. He for the people that didn't watch the trial, he did really great at asking questions also. Yeah, that's the nice thing about with a bench trial versus a jury trial. The judge was able to, reach out and ask questions.
Well, and so, a little bit about this process. So, basically what this trial was doing was establishing a record for the next court. And, so he, many people, I didn't even know. I didn't know until I got over there that this was actually our first trial for our attorney, Tony Aiello. I had no idea. I knew he was new, but he didn't tell me. And I was, one of his friends, and but he just kept that close to his, maybe it's because he didn't want the extra pressure, which I completely understand. And so the judge really did a good job of kind of, helping him, not necessarily, I don't want to accuse the judge of any improprieties, but he understood, and it was trying to lay it all out there just so all the facts were there, so he could make a good decision. And then if, heaven forbid, this thing goes to appeals, all the information was there. And so, like, I feel like our side did a really, really good job of that. Other side did not do so good because they used some of the same expert witnesses from the other hearing in federal court, and so they were exposed, and there's a lot of their stuff that was thrown out because it wasn't relevant, and which is really really good for us. And so but the thing is, they still built the state of Oregon. Like there was one guy, Brian DeLay, which I did a FOIA request on the previous trial. I didn't get all the information because the billing cycle hadn't closed yet, but I mean, he billed the state of Oregon $40,000 for his services. And then he testified again in the state court, right? So I'm going to do another FOIA request to find out how much he was paid again. And his testimony was awful. Like you're saying that you're an expert on firearms, yet you don't know the basic. He admitted on the stand that there was two detachable tube magazine from the 1500s and 1600s, and those were integral support, parts of the firearms for them to function. So he basically just proved our whole entire case, and so it's just stuff like that, it's maddening as somebody, a small business owner, somebody that pays taxes, somebody that carries a gun for everyday personal protection, is to see the amount of wasted resources that at the end of the day is not going to save a single life. That's what's so frustrating about this.
Yep. So I haven't seen anybody asking any questions out in the side chat. I've been kind of paying attention to the computer screen and on my cell phone. What would be a great way for people to help promote Kids Safe and get it out, get it out to other people, and plus maybe help fund you? Are you a 50c3?
Yeah, we're a 501c3. Yep. We've been a nonprofit since 2016, and so yeah, everything's current with the federal government and the state governments. And the biggest thing is the challenge is the censorship. What we do is very specialized, and it's something that really goes against the narrative that's the big tech oligarchs want to push. And so that is, they censor us, they shadow ban us, they affect our reach. And so the most valuable thing that people can do for us is they can go to our Instagram page, they can go to our Facebook page, they can like our page. From there, they can comment, they can like, they can share a message that resonates with them, and that helps us break these algorithms. And I know all of us are in this together. We're all facing this censorship, but really the most meaningful thing that they can do for us is just to share that message. And so also you can find us on YouTube as well. So we've been doing a lot of stuff on YouTube, and it's something that will help us all. If we all work together, we can defeat all of this stuff. And so we have to look at it as this is our team. And so if you have an Instagram page, a Facebook page, our people should be going to your page. We should be engaging with your page. We should be helping your page, and we should be all in this together, right? And so, that's what's going to help us get out and get the message in front of the people that we want to see it. It's either the sponsors or the parents or the kids. Those are the people we want to see the message, and we want people to feel like inspired enough to get involved, and then they can send us a few bucks, and so, all the money stays inside of our program. It doesn't go to pay for salary. Heck, I'm a volunteer. I do, this is like 60 hours a week for me, and I do it for free because it's something that we haven't got to that level yet where I could justify a payment or a salary. So I just do it because it's something that's important to me, and I know it's important to society. And so, I push through. And I know there's a lot of people just like me. There's a lot of people in the nonprofit world that are trying to, get their name out. My friend Tony Simon in New Jersey, he's doing good work too. And, so we're all in this together, and it's just, we all got to come together. We have to understand there's big companies out there that the money that they spend on marketing, they could send a little bit to little nonprofits like ours and have a really big impact on the local communities. And that's going to do a lot to drive sales and help kind of stop the stuff that's happening in our country.
So with you being nonprofit, if people want, they can make a tax deductible, contribution. So I know what Oregon. If you live inside the state of Oregon, I think it's 2,500 can be taken off your state income tax, and I think it's 10,000 off federal. I could be wrong on that. Now, I don't see somebody just dropping a $10,000 check because I said something. If it works, great. Let me know. I'll be happy.
DJ Play Nice, you're my hero. I really appreciate you. I would love to give you my cell phone number, DJ Play Nice. That way, because the problem is every time somebody calls on the 800 number, it costs us money, and so it's like I'm just trying to, like, as we all know, inflation has affected us all. It's made it harder for us to do business. It's made it more expensive for us to travel, and the gas, the fuel, the consumables like ammo and all this stuff has gone up exponentially. And so it's become increasingly more difficult. But that's why just being really mindful of budgets and making sure that we're spending the money in a responsible way, so we don't get in a position when we don't have any debt. The only debt we have is web hosting, and that's something that, or the 800 number, those are the only debts we have, and it's because we need those to operate the business. Other than that, everything else is paid for. And so I have a great board of directors that believe in me and support me and help guide me, and whip my little butt when I get in trouble. So that's what's important, to just keep this thing going. And we're hoping that we can get this out of our state and get it, get people in Nevada. We can get people in Idaho. We can get people in Alabama. That's the message. The message is what's important. And so, that's what we're trying to get out. So.
So, do you guys have like swag or anything on there? Patches,
We do.
stuff like that they can buy to help support?
Yeah, we do. We have hats. We have swatches. I have some. I'm hoping tomorrow I'll get the hoodies on the website. I have some new hoodies that will go on the website. We have hats, patches. I'm working on some new patches for SHOT Show, which I'm really excited about. They're going to be a hot commodity at SHOT Show. We go to SHOT Show just to kind of network and meet with sponsors and get more people on board and people that can help support the work that we're doing.
Awesome. If anyone out in the side chat or out in the audience has any questions for Derek or myself, post them, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. And if we don't get any questions here pretty soon, we'll probably wrap this up. I don't want to waste a whole lot of Derek's time because I know we both have a job to get to in the morning. So,
fortunately for me, my job is right here in front of my computer. And so tomorrow I'm going to finish writing a blog about Measure 114 and my travels. And, it's just, promoting classes and, just the fun stuff, everybody thinks it's all glitz and glamour to be an instructor. And it's not really glitz and glamour. There's a lot of work that goes in the behind the scenes. There's making content, like you guys know about making content. So there's a lot that goes into it. But it's fun. It's different every day. That's what I love about it.
So if you want to share the link to this onto your Facebook or Instagram, I have zero problems with that, so that people can watch the interview with you.
Okay.
Way that people can understand, maybe find out more if they need to, I'm not seeing. So it says Gunpowder Beauty's asking, sorry, I'm coming in late. How do we get Kids Safe Foundation expanded into other states? Not in yet.
That's the $1 million question. And so it comes down to, typically what I do is wherever I travel, I set up a class, so if I'm going to a conference or if I'm going to somewhere else, I set up a training in that location just so we can increase our footprint. Right. And so I'm looking forward to next year. I'll be going to Wyoming. I'll be going to Florida for some events. We also, yeah, we do have a Patreon. Yeah. Thank you, DJ. It's just, there's just so much to keep up with, you know what I mean? And so, so that's the goal, is just to be able to have people in those other states that see what we're doing and see something that's viable. And then we partner with those groups, and then we come to their state and we offer the training. And then, and well, it's all about building the connections. Once we build the connections, now we can go, oh, Kentucky. Yes. I would love to go to Kentucky. And so I'm hoping, we need to do something in that, on the East Coast and in the South. I would love that. So, it comes down to just networking, right? And so that's how we build this network. And it's doing interviews like this where we're talking about, something that's really, really easy. And that's talking about, guns and gun safety to children. It's not something that has to be a scary thing. It's something it's necessary, and so, and the thing I guess I want to leave people on tonight is, there's other organizations that you wouldn't agree with that are starting to get into the gun safety game for kids. And so I think it's really, really important. And they have deep, deep pockets, the Be Smart project, Be Smart program from Every Town Moms Demand Action. They're trying to package this up as quote unquote gun safety. And that's not gun safety. Their idea of gun safety is actually you taking your gun and getting it out of your home to keep your kids safe. And so that's not something that I believe in. I believe that, our guns serve a purpose in our homes. They can use for hunting, sporting, also to protect the home. So we're not going to be getting rid of our guns. We just have to educate our kids on the importance of making sure that they treat them with respect and are safe around them. So I saw another. Absolutely. That's the way to do it. Gunpowder Beauty. That's, just normalize this conversation. And, good analogy is the hot burner, right? You tell your kids, don't touch that burner. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to touch that burner. And so, with that being said, if we have these conversations, it's an adult like conversation. It also empowers our kids, because now you're treating them like they're adults. And a lot of these kids that I meet, it's like they're 5, 6 years old, and their parents are kind of hovering because they're helicopter parents, and the kids just want to be trusted that they can do this. And so if you put a little bit of belief in them, you empower them, you give them some good education, they're going to be set on this path where they're going to be good advocates going into the future. And they just want to be trusted. And so they want to feel like they're the big kids. And they want to feel like they're adults, so that's kind of where I'm at, so, just, I can't impress upon that enough. Is just have these really adult conversations with their kids. It's not going to hurt them. It's only going to make their lives so much better.
Absolutely. Thank you again for coming on.
Absolutely.
And helping to get this message
Hey,
spread.
G-Web.
Yep.
Hey,
G-Web just popped in.
Yeah, I saw him when I was in Phoenix too. Really like that guy.
He'll probably be at SHOT Show.
Yeah, also. he schooled me on the patch game. And so now, like next year, that's where I'm bringing patches and some custom patches, all because of my conversations with G-Web. So, no, yeah, DJ play nice. I mean, you are such an incredible person, and I see you in all these different videos and all these different interviews. You're always there. You're always supportive. And like, it's people like you that are going to help get this message out, and so, oh yeah. So yeah, please let me know, G-Web. I need to get on that. So,
I can forward you his email and stuff if you don't have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been in talk, and so I'm just reading Gunpowder Beauty. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the. I think one thing we have to do is we look, especially being from Oregon. There's pockets of Oregon that are definitely going to be more pro gun, but there's also parts, in the Portland area where there's a lot of fear when it comes to guns, and we have to look at. And what I've been trying to sound the alarm on when it comes to the 2A and the Second Amendment organizations is we have to focus on that next generation. If we do not get them involved and let them understand the importance of what we're talking about today, we're going to lose it all. And so we have to understand that we have to be able, we have to think about succession. And that's something I talked about when we're in Phoenix is, what's the game plan? What, I mean, the people that are, the figureheads now, I mean, they're getting older and it's getting, technology, there's a greater divide. And so it's kind of our job, right? Is as people that are in this generation, the X and Y generation, is how do we pick up this torch and then be able to pass it on to those that are maybe in the 20s or the teens, you know what I mean? And so, oh, G Webs, that was the best I saw all day was her. And oh, thank you, DJ. And I that really resonated with me. That was the first time I had even heard of her, which I feel bad that I didn't know about her. But what she's doing is so amazing when it comes to, getting the next generation involved. We have to look at, basically we have to make it fun. We have to make the 2A fun. That's what we try to do. The 2A is fun. There's nothing to be afraid of if we do it properly. And so we just need everybody to get on board.
Absolutely, because otherwise, like you say, we're going to lose it all. We're only one generation from it, not existing. We're one generation away from our Constitution not existing.
Absolutely. So I guess my challenge for everybody here tonight is, what are we doing every day to prepare that next generation so they have the strength and the courage to hold that line when we need them to hold that line, I guess. And so and I mean that in a respectful way, because I know we're all advocates here, but we also have to look at the long game. This is not a 1 or a 5-year fight. This is literally generational. This could be what's our game plan 20 to 30 years from now. The way things are going, we should be thinking about that. And so that's kind of where I'm at. 100%. Ben Franklin. It's only if you can keep it. How much. What crisis would they use to take it all away? I mean, I'm sure they're working on that right now.
Yep. Is it going to be the border crisis? Is that going to be? Oh well, we got to take your guns right now. You can have them back. Don't worry. We'll get them back to you.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'll hold on to mine.
Right. Again, I want to thank you. I want to be respectful of your time, so you can get family and.
Are we done?
Yep.
Is that the hook?
You want to plug anything?
No, I enjoyed the conversation. I think it was a good talk. It was a good crowd. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Multi-generational fight, absolutely. And one thing that G Webs brought out is the crowd was definitely, it was an older crowd, and so I was probably young, and I'm not young, and so it's just we have to see the importance of the succession, and everybody's going to have a different way of doing things, and in the way the old guard did things with newspapers and magazine articles, like that doesn't necessarily have the effect that it would now with technology and the way kids are learning and the way they're interacting with one another. And so we just need to change our tactics.
Yep. And when we say we need to be inclusive, bringing people in, especially the younger generation, as
Absolutely.
advocates, we've learned, and it wasn't always the easiest. There's not people that are willing to always hand out information and help you. now that we've got in and we're doing this, we need to be the ones to reach down and say, you know what, hey, there's this new person coming up. Let's help get them. Let's bring them into the fold. Let's bring their voice up. You know, because
Um,
they
I,
are they are the ones that are going to do this when we're not here anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, everything I'm trying to do is I'm thinking, and one thing that really stuck out from GRPC, one of the most powerful moments for me, it was one of my friends, Nikki Stallard, and when she was up there speaking, her quote was, "It's not me, it's we." Okay. And so if we're going to close out, I want to close out on that. It's not me, it's we. And so there's so much that goes into the defense and the preservation of our two-way rights, and it only comes when we all have this seat at the table, and we all have different life experience, we all have different strengths, all have different weaknesses, but at the end of the day, it's not just me, it's we.
Yep. And
And
so
one thing I did want to bring up here is you'll see this right here. You
just
see
a sec,
my
let me
my
full screen you so you can get that
okay.
out there.
You'll see these right here. These are my rack cards, right? So there's a spot on the website. I forget the link. If DJ can help me out here, there's a way for you to print these out, and you guys can put them up either at home. So if you want to talk about gun safety with your kids, or you could maybe put them up somewhere. So maybe at a gun store or something like that, so that people can see that there's organizations out there that are trying to help the community, the 2A community. And so if you guys want to grab some of those off our website, I have no problem with that. All it costs you is, we also have targets there as well. So if you guys have kids that are shooting, BB guns, airsoft guns, Nerf guns, there's a training aid section, and you can print out these targets free of charge. And so you can put those up anywhere, and those are a great resource as well. We also have a good blog, so there's lots of different learning places there, and you guys can also get involved. Send me an email if you guys support us and believe in what we're doing. Encouragement always helps. So, all right, I'm off my soapbox.
And yeah, DJ, man, he's awesome with dropping links, and that's why I always make him a mod. I made him a mod, and if I have any kind of influence with other channels, I'm like, hey, if you want a good mod, here's a good mod.
That's so
He's
that's
gonna.
that's that's how I know him from all these other podcasts that I'm on. Is he's the mod. That's great. He's a tremendous asset. So I like the way he always brings up the Washington switchboard. That's awesome.
Yep.
So,
Because not everyone knows who their rep is, and you still need to be able to get a hold of them.
well, and that's a one thing that we did here in Oregon. I wish you were on Facebook so you could see what we did. Is we have a group that I run. It's Oregon Firearms Advocates, and so there's almost 80,000 Oregonians on there, and so basically the past year and a half, I've been doing tutorials and teaching them how to, navigate OLIS. I've been teaching them how to, so I've been doing a lot of my advocacy work there, and I have lots of videos posted there because, I get great feedback from them. And now they're sending emails to the representatives. Now, every time something happens, I have 1,000 emails that go into the Oregon State Legislature, into those offices, so I've made some tweaks to what we do, and so now I'm incorporated Chat GPT, and so now when it's time, when the Oregon legislature starts back up, we're going to fire in 10,000 emails into their inboxes, and we're going to flood them, and so that's something that is going to be really sweet once we get all that up and running. But we got to fight forward.
Yep.
There's another thing to take away from tonight is I'm done playing defense. Let's fight forward, and we do that by thinking generational.
Yep. I wanna get it into when these legislators are attacking our constitutional rights, and they know that they're unconstitutional, that they're removed from office immediately, and they have to. I mean, because they violate their oath of office.
I know, but how do you have the teeth? That's the problem. Is we can say all this stuff here, but at the end of the day, they don't care. They have their own agenda. They have special interest money that pays their salaries and buys their boats and their trips to Europe, and you know what I mean. They don't care. And so we have to identify good candidates. We have to run those good candidates, and we have to defeat those people that are already in office that don't represent us. And that's the only way we're going to change this thing as well. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yep. And again, like you said, it's not me, it's we. So we're going to end this, and everyone have a great evening. And thanks again, Derek, for coming on and talking about your organization.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for going and testifying in the state trial.
Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, DJ.
And